We gather in circles around a common hearth fire, on prayer mats in mosques, around dinner tables with Sabbath candles burning in silver candlesticks, in pews in churches, on tatami mats in retreat centers, on floors in dorm rooms, to tell stories that reorient us away from the petty and toward the profound, away from disaster and toward hope. We tell stories of heroes and miracles, of amazing things that happen that we can't explain, to stir the necessary awe in our souls that make us right-sized, that remind us, oh yeah, there's more to life than just me operating in the universe. Phew. It's that thing that we celebrate today. It's that thing. What the poet Lucy Shaw calls that secret purple wisdom that tells the iris to unfold in frills. What silver sound, she writes, thaws winter into spring, speaks clamor into singing, gives love for loneliness. It is secret purple wisdom, that force that we celebrate this morning with relief. And if I may quote a second poet, let me tell you the way naturalist Wendell Berry says it in starker terms, that dismantles our human egos and again makes us right-sized. Not through your will is the house carried through the night. If that's not good news to you, may I suggest that it should be? Behold, I am doing a new thing, wrote the ancient prophet named Isaiah, and he believed he was talking for God. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. It's okay if you don't believe that. There is not a thing I would say to talk you out of your questions or your skepticism. All I wish is not that you believe that the Creator is doing a new thing, but I just want you to want that, to wish for it. Because I don't think we can make it through this life if we don't want there to be a source greater than our egos and our efforts to be at work in the universe. Easter doesn't have to be about belief. It needs to be about faithfulness, and those are very different things. Belief is having arrived somewhere. There you are, that's that. I believe that. But faithfulness is a process. It's a journey. It's a path that we take together, and we keep moving along that path and evolving. And sometimes you fall down on the path, or sometimes you take a step or two backwards. But part of what we do for each other on that journey of faithfulness is to observe. There. Observe the ways that life itself is assisting, is nudging, is connecting, and is renewing. Point that out along the path. We say, behold, look, there's a possibility. There's a blessing. There's a little revelation for us. This is what happened in an extreme way in the Easter story. Shocking possibility and revelation out of a dead end with a heavy stone rolled in front of it. A beautiful man of God got caught and crushed in the system of empire, corruption and injustice and persecution being central to what empire is and does. And we live today in such an empire. So this story is very much relevant to our lives. The ones who put this man to death didn't care that he had healed the sick or raised the dead or walked on water or had a special relationship with God. They didn't care about those stories or those reports. They weren't interested in beloved community that he was trying to create and what that looks like. They were interested in maintaining authority and maintaining privilege for those in power. So they crucified him. This man who gave love and hope and healing to so many. No big deal. They did it all the time. He was just one of the many bodies nailed up in public as a warning to other rebels and bandits. But what happened next is so contrary to our usual narrative of good triumphing over evil that we have to stop, I think, to compare what we're accustomed to with these narratives versus what actually happened in the Easter story, because it is in that difference that I think we can find something worth being faithful to. So, in our popular heroic narratives, the hero, the main figure, the protagonist, right, fights his or her way out of certain death. Think of all the superhero narratives given to us by Marvel and DC Comics and, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. They use their superpowers or their amazing physical strength or their cool inventions to protect and rescue ordinary people and to rescue themselves when they're in the clutches of the evil powers. When it comes down to the moment of crisis, they kick and karate chop and lasso and fly and call on their animal or alien or human assistants, and they get out of trouble. And we go, yeah! They make it happen. And we love them for it. We want to see that. We want to be that. I mean, you don't have to raise your hand, but has anyone here not had a fantasy of like kicking the bad guy? I totally have this recurring fantasy that at any moment of crisis that I would be magically endowed or invested with the power to do one of those like flying round kicks and just like save the day that way. Sometimes I imagine it. In the Easter story, though, there's just an empty tomb. No flying kicks. No lassos and Batmobiles. Nothing but the secret purple wisdom that thaws winter into spring. Here is what the angel or the mysterious young man in the empty tomb tells the women who have come to do the sad work of preparing Jesus' body for burial. He's not here, he's risen. It's the same in every account of Jesus' non-presence in the tomb. He is risen. What do you mean he's risen? That's what I mean. He's not here. He went ahead of you to Galilee. Well, how? I'm just telling you, he's not here. Don't be afraid. He's risen. What silver sound thaws winter into spring? Speaks clamor into singing. Gives love for loneliness. It is this unterrestrial pulse, deep as heaven, that folds you in its tingling embrace, gongs in your echo heart. We do love a good story about a triumphant battle, a battle against poverty. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Never mind the fact that some people don't have any bootstraps or boots. A good story about triumphing over depression, against cancer, against the big, wealthier sports team, against the corrupt corporation. Those are great stories. We are trained and tutored in the language of battle and effort. We use metaphors of battle to frame almost every life challenge any of us may face. But Easter invites us into the power of the non-fight, the no battle, the thing called grace, the life force grace in which we are born and live, and to which I believe we return after we are laid to our earthly rest. That's hard to accept, isn't it? Nothing's free, or so we've been told. You don't get raised up, you pull yourself up, hand over hand, sweaty and grunting with the effort. Not this time. Not in this story. That's why it's so weird, so discomfiting. That's why we are here this morning. And so many folks, this one time of year they come to church because we need Easter. If Easter freaks you out and offends you, I want to ask, what offends you more? The scientific impossibility of a man coming back to life after being crucified? Or the fact that you might be held at all times and in all conditions in an irresistible grace, one that you can neither control nor reject? As Walter Brueggemann puts it, Easter is not a spiritual event, but a surging of power that touches all of life. The Easter question is not whether you can get your mind around the resurrection, because you cannot. Rather, the question is whether you can permit in your horizon new healing power, new surging possibility, new gestures to the crippled, new ways of power in an armed, fearful world, new risk, new life, leaping, dancing, singing, praising the powers beyond all our controlled powers. That surging power that maketh all things new wants to work in our lives as surely as it wants to work through that lima bean to put out a sprout, to germinate, to grow. We don't do a thing to earn it. We are only asked to leave off or perhaps scrape off the layers of furniture polish and shellac that we have put over it and give it space in our lives to make things new through us. Thanks be to the loving Spirit that raises up life. Thanks be to the grace that enfolds you and me in its tingling embrace. The grace that will not let any of us go. World without end. Amen.